Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing You Are Safe Now. Now, it's been a very long time, almost embarrassing long, since we played a willpower puzzle. And I'm not entirely sure why that is the case, actually. He is a prolific constructor. I'm kind of wondering if he was just on vacation. We haven't seen a lot of puzzles from him recently, or somehow I've just missed a lot of puzzles that he's published. Regardless, really good to be back and playing a willpower puzzle, and I'm really looking forward to solving it. 94% rating as of the time of recording. Now, the thumbnail in here was very much inspired by what Will is actually drawn on the grid. He's even attached a picture, and I think it's from a movie or similar, where you've got essentially the male character slightly taller than the female character, and squeezing hair pretty similar to what you see in this particular thumbnail. Now, of course, the story could be that Sleuth just saved some distressed damsel from some kind of crime, whatever it may be, by solving a puzzle. But of course, I'm going to think about the fact that this is Mr. Sleuth hugging Mrs. Sleuth. I much prefer that kind of image myself. Once again, this particular individual looks a lot like Mrs. Sleuth. I've made that statement a few times before, so one thing I will do is drop a link to her website. I mentioned in the past I've actually been busy building it for a while around her practice and her academy. So it's all up and running, and you do get to confirm that indeed she looks pretty similar to a lot of the pictures that I've drawn in the past. Anyhow, enough of all of that. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets from Willpower with You Are Safe Now. And immediately you can kind of recognize sort of what I was referencing in here, with the green character being kind of the more dominant male figure. I'm guessing the red part is the head. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe? Maybe. Right, rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku, German whispers, Dutch whispers, RENBAN, and killer cages. Quick reminder of all of these. Normal Sudoku rules, almost self-explanatory for this group. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, every 3x3 box. I think I forgot to mention killer cages, but no, there is. I must have said it. German whisper lines. So numbers on green lines are at least 5 apart from their neighbor on the line, and numbers may repeat on the green lines if allowed by other rules. So if this cell here is a 2, the neighbors would have to be 5 or more away, so that's 7, 8, or 9. And of course they can repeat. I could have a double 7, for example. That would be totally legitimate. This could be 1 or 2 to be 5 or more away. And the pattern with German whispers: high digits 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and oscillating back and forth between them to actually be 5 or more away. No 5s on German whisper lines. Unlike Dutch whispers, where I can have them because the numbers on the red lines are at least 4 apart from their neighbors on the line. Numbers do not repeat on the red line. That's useful to know, actually. There's a very clear distinction there. So if we take our 2 example that we tried earlier, these 2 cells, not only are they 7, 8, or 9, it could even include a 6, because it's only 4 or more away. More troubling is the fact that I can do something cheeky, like a 5, a 1, and a 9, and that would be totally appropriate on a Dutch whisper line. Right, no repeat digits. I'm not going to explain that one. You guys, I'm pretty sure, are going to be able to figure that out. RENBANs, so numbers on the purple lines, are each a set of non-repeating consecutive numbers in any order. So if this, I'm trying to find the shorter line. This is probably the shortest of the RENBANs. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line. One option, once I've placed a 2 on here, is to essentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other option, of course, is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice I am including 5 distinct digits. They're all consecutive, and there are no repeats. So something like this is absolutely fine. What I couldn't do is, in fact, repeat a digit. That's broken it. And what I couldn't do is have a non-consecutive set. Is that a non-consecutive set? I guess if I remove the 5 to actually make them fit on a 5-cell RENBAN line. Clearly, they're no longer consecutive. There is no 5 in there. Right. Last but not least, we've got killer cages. Numbers in cages sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. So if this cell is a 2, this would have to be a 9 to make sure that these two cells add up to 11. These two are 8, these two are 12, etc. And it doesn't mention that digits have to be unique within the cages, but they're always either in the same row or the same column. So we know that they are unique numbers. That's it. That's all the rules we have for today. So if you want to play along, you are safe now. Link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And I'm kind of hoping for a smoother solve compared to the shenanigans I got up to yesterday. Right, these three cells, I should say, are 1, 2, 3. 3 cells in, sorry, a 6 cage in 3 cells that are unique have to be 1, 2, 3. Anything else is just too big. It immediately gives me the polarity on this particular German whisper line. So I know that these 2 cells are low. I'll use blue for low, red for high. Remember, every other cell will be the same polarity, and the one is between will be the opposite polarity. So not only do I know what is low and high now, I've got a couple of digits. This is not 6, but it could be 7, 8, or 9. Essentially, I could have 1 and 2, and that would be 5 or more away from the 7. This cannot be a 6 either, because that would require a double 1. But once again, it could be 7, 8, or 9. Now this time, I'm pretty sure I can get away with a 6. That would just have 1, 1, and a 6. So not sure I can do much more than that. I'm actually having a think about this RENBAN. This digit is obviously different from these 2. And I'm pretty sure that this digit is a 1. Yeah, I'm confident it's a 1. Reason is that if I place the 1 on here, well, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cell RENBAN would need to have the digits 1 through to 7. And this digit will not be the 1, so it'll be, let's say, 3. For the sake of argument, let's say this is 1 and 2, and this is 3. And then the tricky part is, where does the 3 go in this RENBAN? Now, you may be tempted to place it in here, but this is a 13 cage. 1, 2, 3 is too low. This would have to add up to 10, 11, or 12 to get to 13. So this cell can't hide on here, and this cell is clearly not on this 7 cell RENBAN. If I use 2 or 3 in here, I've broken the puzzle. So this definitely has to be 1. These are not 1 or 2, they are 2 and 3. That removes the 7 option from here. This can technically still be a 7, that could be the 2. And we now know, yes, we know the composition of this in that it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So no 9 on any of it. Still plenty of options, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not sure I should pencil mark that. In fact, I know why I shouldn't, because the 3 is extra and all of these options actually work. This is not great. So let's think about it. If this is 4, that would be 9, which is fine. If it happens to be an option that is on the RENBAN, so 5 and 8, for example, well, the 8 wouldn't be here because I've just placed it there or there. But it could be either of these. So I'm not sure I can really reduce this option. I'm also not sure I can actually remove the 8 as an option in here, because the 8 can always hide there. I could always have an 8 in there, then none of these are 8, and this is fine. That could be 8. Only thing I know is that this 2, 3, which is nowhere else in this box, is somewhere in these 2 cells, which is frankly not a lot to go on. 20 cage without the 1, 2, 3. So 4, 5, 6 is a minimum of 15. That is still plenty of options. I think I'm going to move on. Right, so the Dutch whisper line. One thing that I was tempted to do when I was walking through the rule sets was count the number of cells. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the only thing I know is that I am missing 1 digit, because it did say there are no repeated numbers. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit weird on Dutch whisper lines, because you don't actually know the polarity is low and high. As I talked earlier, they could be 5, 1, and 9. The fact that it's even digits will tell me whether it does include a 5 or it doesn't. So if you imagine I'm oscillating between low and high and there's no 5s, these would be high, these, because obviously this is low, these would be low, this would be high, and this would be low. So that looks correct. So I think if it was an odd number of digits, we'd end up in this awkward scenario where we end up with, 2 reds adjacent or 2 blues adjacent, and therefore we'd know that we would have a 5. Now I feel reasonably confident that is solid logic, solid enough to be able to say that this, because I have to, well, technically, no, I was going to say that technically I could do something like place a 5 and have a double 1. I don't have to flip the polarity, but no, I can't, because that would be repeating a digit. So if I do put a 5, I would have to flip the polarity to a 9 so that I don't repeat the 1 or don't repeat the 9, and then it will have to turn around, essentially, these polarities. This would become red, this would become blue. And then you try and join it up to the rest of this 8-cell line, and it's not going to work. So yes, 5 is missing from this Dutch whisper line, and we have all of the other digits 1 through to 8, 1 through to 9, except 5. We know that these are essentially the unique digits of 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is one of each. And then that these 4 are 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, one of these is a 6. And 6 is restrictive enough on Dutch whispers that it would require a 1, 2 neighbor. Now, if this is 1, 2, that would be a 9. So I'm pretty sure that doesn't work because 9 is in one of these 4 cells. So 1, 2, 9 to get to 12, that can't be 1, 2. And if I place a 6, it would force a 1, 2. So that's not 6. In fact, the fact that all of these high digits are gone makes me wonder about how do I get to 12? And the only option I can think of is 3, 4, 5. Because any other combination of digits would require this middle digit to be a high digit, which is not available. I've placed and pencil marked all 4 in box 5. So yeah, even 2 and 4, that's 6. I would need another 6, and that doesn't work. 6 is in one of these 3 cells. So that is 5. These are 3, 4. And remember, these are unique. So this is not 3 or 4. This is 1 or 2. This is a fantastic puzzle. This 3, 4 is not here. It's in one of these 2 cells. This 1, 2 goes in there. This 1, 2, more interestingly, is in here. So that gives me 2 different 1, 2s plus a 6 to get to 9. So the 6, 7 option in here is gone. If I had a 6, sorry, removing the 6 means 6 is not in the 13 cage. And obviously if there's a 7 in the 13 cage, it would force a 6 with it. 6 is none of these cells either. This is almost limited enough to pencil mark. So it could be 5, 8, or 9. Okay. What more do I know? Well, I've got polarity on the rest of this German whisper line, so I may as well use it. These are all high, low, high, low, high. Yeah, that's correct. Sorry, it's just when I put the 2 blues, when I was about to put the 2 blues next to one another, I was thinking I made a mistake, but that's correct. Right. Now, we can't use 3, 4, 5 again, obviously. So we need 2 digits that are lower than 3 and 4, because this has to be a high digit. And if I do something like 6, that would force this to be a 1. Then this is 7, this would force this to be a 5, which doesn't work on Dutch whispers. So this is at least a 7. And then that would be 1 or 2. And essentially it's either 8 with a 4 left, and that works with a double 9. Yeah, so 7, 8, 9 seems to work right now. Interestingly, 3, 4, 5. So even if I maximize this, because there is no 1, 2 in here, and this is not 1 or 2, so this is maximal. This is indeed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And importantly, the 6 is none of these cells. That's the only place for a 6. And of course that makes sense because these are the only ones that are 1 and 2. I could have got there a bit earlier if I paid attention. Right, let's think about the 3 4s. The 4 can only be next to 8 and 9. That means that can't be 7 because one of these is 4s and anything other than 8 or 9 would break the Dutch whisper line. Now, one of these is indeed a 3 and therefore the 7 would be allowed next to it. So, not sure I know much more than that. This is 7, 8 or 9. It's not a 6. This is 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming including 4 actually, so no point in thinking about this too much. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remove 7, 8 as an option. This is now 9. This is not 9. The 9 allows me to have the 4 here, but doesn't force it. If this is the 4, this would be an 8-9 pair. This would be a 7. This would be a 3. It all still works. Right, rest of this row, we know what this digit is. It is a 9, which gives me polarity on this German whisper line. So these are high, these are low. In the in the 12th cage, this is 7, 8, or 9. You can't put a 6 in here, that would be a double 6. The 7 would partner up with a 5, which is available. 8 partners up with 4, and the 9 partners up with 3, all of which are available. There's nothing in the column stopping it. Other than potentially these 2 cells, which will, frankly, we're going to have to come back to. These 2 are unique. Minimum is 1, 2. That makes this not a 6, otherwise that would be a double 1. So this is 7 or 8. Can't be 9, it's in here. 11 cage feels very restricted now. It's not 9, 2, it's not 8, 3, it's not 7, 4. It can only be 5, 6. You see, like, there's a lot of deductions to be made. What I'm finding, though, is I'm making a ton of deductions and I'm pencil marking, but it doesn't feel like I'm ever getting that breakthrough. Fascinating puzzle. I can do a 4 in here with a double 9. I could do a 4 in here with a double 9. So, yeah, tricky. This is not 1. This is 2, 3, or 4. The fact that it's not 1 tells me this is not a 6 either. This is 7, 8, or 9. We we know that we have essentially a 2 here, like we have a 2 X-wing. So if this is 2, that's 2. If this is 2, that's 2. So this is not 2. But, you know, I'm really clutching at straws now, trying to pencil mark some of these things. I need to look elsewhere, frankly. 9 here means there are no 9s, there are no 9s, there are no 9s. Well, 9 is only down in these 2 cells, which eliminates 9 up here. Eliminates 4 as options from both of these cells. That gives me a 1, 2, 3 triple. I mean, the 6s are placed, but the 5s I haven't really thought about. I know I'm doing Sudoku mid-puzzle solve. Something that I should do more often, if I'm honest. So if the 5 is not inside the 13 cage, it has to be in here. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. Here's a bit of unique logic, actually. This 2, 3 we always knew is in the bottom 2 cells, but I'm going to say it's in here. Essentially, this cell is different from this. And therefore, this 2, 3 has to be one of these 2 cells, which eliminates the entirety of column 7 in box 9. So that 2, 3 can only be in here. And this cell is either 9 or 4, 5, 8. I know that because essentially it's the only cell that's not on the RENBAN. It's one of 2 cells that's not on the RENBAN. Forget the 2, 3s for a second because this one is. And essentially it's either this cell hiding in here, or, and I think it has to be, well, I mean, technically it could be 8 is hiding in there and this is 9, or it could be 4, 5, 8 and it's hiding there. So this is 4, 5, 8, 9. This is, yeah, just too much to pencil mark, really. What I'm going to do is just, no, I don't want to do that because they're not definitely the same. They're potentially the same. I'm just going to color them so that I remind myself of this deduction so I don't have to do it again. But in the interest of time, I'm going to move on. But where to? I feel like I've gotten so much logic done, frankly, for so little gain. Right, can I have a 4 in here? So I can't have a 4 there. I can't have a 4 in any of these because I can't have a double 9. This cell is not up to a 9. The maximum I can have in here is now a 3. 2, 3 works with a 7. So essentially these are from 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 goes with 9. 1 and 3 goes with 8. And obviously 2 and 3 goes with 7. So I'm not learning, frankly, that much. And this is anything including a 4. They can be double 9 as far as I could tell. Maybe. Is it too much pressure on the 20 cage? That's really the kind of the cage we've sort of abandoned early on. Not too sure. So this 1, 2, remember, is in one of these two cells. And therefore these 1, 2s are the same. I'm just going to put a purple flash on them or something. Don't need the flash in here. And this 3, 4 is in here. I think that is a deduction. I essentially have all 4 low digits in these 4 cells. Should I pencil mark them? You know, this 1, 2 is in here. This 3, 4 is in there. I mean, obviously the order doesn't matter, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not 3 or 4. This is a 5. How am I struggling to remove these? So that's 5. That makes this 7. That can't be 3. That's a 1. That makes this 2. That makes this 1. These are the same. That 2 means that this is 3. This is 2. That preserves the 7 option in here, unfortunately. It places a 1 in this cell because of Sudoku. So I'm pretty sure that removes the 7 option, which required a 2, 3 pair. So that's not 7. This is 2, 3, or 4. This is not a 2, actually. This is quite high. So that removes the 7 option from here. Right. It's starting to kind of point me back towards that 20Ks in this RENBAN. Let's think about it for a second. If I put 9 and 8 in here, I still have to fit 5, 6, and 7, which is actually small enough. I was thinking I can't do that, but I actually can. 5, 6, 7 is only 18. So if anything, if I put 9 in here, the way maybe to think about these, so I think I'm going to do something on this, just I'm much more familiar with 10 cages in 3 cells, but just go with me. So a 10 cage either has a 1 or it's 2, 3, 5. Now flip that round for the 20 cage. So essentially it either has a 9 or it's 5, 7, 8. So do I have a 9 in here is almost a question I should have been asking a long time ago, and for one reason or another it never occurred to me. 8, 9 pair means that this is a 7. I think that means that can't be a 4. This has to be a 3. This has to be a 4 on the Dutch whisper line. This is now an 8, 9 pair, and it was for ages, if I paid attention. And maybe we know a bit more now to think about what these cells are. So it's not 8 or 9. It includes a 6 for sure. And a pretty low digits with 2, 3, 4. So it's not 2, 3 in here. This is 4 or 6. And this is 2, 3, 4, or 6. Now I'm pretty sure 2 doesn't work. You're not going to get to 1, 2, 3, 4 whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-cell RENBAN from 2 to 8. And obviously these three cells will be way too low. I'm pretty sure the answer is true for 3 and 4 as well, but let me just think about that for a second. 3, and if I try and maximize everything, bearing in mind this is 8 or 9, I would have to place the 9. No, but 3 to 9 doesn't work, does it? And 9 has to be on the RENBAN. That's the easier way of thinking about it, because 9 is none of these cells. So 9 is on the RENBAN. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I can't have anything lower than 5. This is a 6. This is a 4. That's not a 4. So if this is 9, this is 5, 7, 8, and this is a 6. In fact, that is correct. The fact that there is now no 6 on this RENBAN places a 6 in here. And now to make this work, given I don't have 1, 2, 3, or 4 in here, I have to try and minimize this now with 5, 7, and 8, and therefore this is indeed a 9. That is not a 4 anymore. That is a 2. That makes this a 9, an 8, a 9, and this is still possibly a 7. Fantastic puzzle. Some really interesting logic from Willpower. Not that it should surprise us, it's just a good reminder that I should be playing his puzzles more often, really, and featuring them more. When I loaded this, it only had 250 solves. It deserves way more attention than it's got so far. This is 5, 8. Rest of this column is 3, 4, I'm going to say. And these two are 6, 8. Remember, we had these low digits of, well, now we know what they are. They are 2 and 3. This 2 gave me 3, 2, and 3 done. And then these 3 cells, well, this has to be a 1, just Sudoku, so let's just do that. Then we need 7, which can only be in here because of the 7, 8 pair, and we just know what this is. This is a 4. These 2 cells are now known. They are 1 and 2. No 9, no 4. This is a 5, 8 pair. We just know what this is. This is a 4 as well. This 3 forces this to be an 8. This is now a 7. And we are making progress, slowly but surely. That 8 has forced this to be a 9, and therefore this is indeed that cell. Because otherwise, where would it be on this, in box 9? Well, it can't be on the RENBAN. It's not 9. It's not 2, 3, and it's not 1. This is 5 or 8. It's not 8. So that's 5. That's 5. That's 8. And therefore, none of these are 5. This is 4, 7, 8. That's not a 6 either. Beautiful logic. 5, 8, 5. And we're getting towards the end of this puzzle now. I don't want to say finally because it's been immensely enjoyable. 7, 8 pair. This is a 4. These are not 4s. That 3 gave me a 2 a long time ago if I was awake. This is 1, 9, and 3. Easier. 3, 9. That's 1. That's 3, 9. And this is 2, 4, and 6, I'm going to say. No easy deductions like that. Right, the 8 cage we've ignored for a long time. Although, how about I just Sudoku? Let's just place this digit. It's just a 6. Doesn't help me with the 12, so not very useful placement. That 8 gave me 7 and 8. Am I going to pencil mark these? I think the answer is yes. I need 2, 5, and 9, I'm going to say. That is not 5 or 9, that's 2. And this is a 5, 9 pair. This is 3, 4, and 7. 7 can only be here. And then there's a 3, 4 pair, which also gives me another 3, 4 pair. Then in here I have 5 and 9 and a 2 to complete the row. No 2, no 7. So this is not 1, 7. This is not 2, 6. This can only be 3, 5. which is kind of interesting for a 12 cage. It actually forces this to be a 4-8, incredibly, because essentially 3-9 is gone, 5-7 is gone. This can only be 4-8, and this is probably all the information that we need to actually solve this. So let's just crack on with that. 9, 5. This is a 1. These are not 5s. We now know 2, 9. This is 6. 5, 6. I mean, not 6 is obvious, but 2, 4, 8. Yeah, this is 8 because it's not 5 or 7, which gives me 4, which gives me 2, which gives me 6, 4. Right, we've got it from here. 1 hopes. 2, 1, 2, 9, 3, 9, 3, 5. I'm guessing that's the 5. And the 8, of course, didn't really use. 7. And if I've not made any mistakes, 8 for the finish. It's a beautiful puzzle, Willpower. Like, absolutely stunning puzzle. I would say even warrants a higher rating than it's received. I hope that you guys enjoyed it anywhere near as much as I did. Thank you, Willpower, for the puzzle. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.